My name is Linus. I'm from Efektas Group. I'm a founder and a trainer in this company. The purpose of our company is innovation in education, making education as important and as simple as breathing the air that you have in the room. And following this, I'm bringing to you a webinar which is mostly focused on business, entrepreneurship, starting the business for those who maybe are just starters or who are like me, eternal learners, and understand that once you know that you are a master, you stop being a student. So every day, every person can teach you something, even the bad experiences sometimes in our lives. Today's topic is AI. How to prompt AI the right way to get your breakthroughs, to actually get the result that you want and need for yourself. Because it's not a secret that many of us are using free versions of different tools, mostly ChatGPT, and it has some sort of limits. And the magic happens is when we ask the right question. It's the same as with the people. You have a conversation, and depending on what questions or topics you are discussing, depends the quality of the conversation itself. And the same goes also with AI. In the beginning, very, very excited when I saw the first, let's say, launches. That time was the ChatGPT and the accomplishments that AI can do. And AI is called artificial intelligence, whereas in fact, it is a program. It's a software that follows the commands that is pre-programmed from the engineers. So unlike we who are able to think, create, and think and question, AI is still in the stage where it is following the main input from the engineers and the data that we provide and follow the rules that are pre-programmed. Although there are experiments where AI is already able to act independently, but again, that doesn't mean it's an intelligent creation. Roughly since 2024, 23, I was myself highly into AI, applying it in my job, in my life, and in teaching. And yeah, it's mostly self-taught, self-trained about how things work. And I take pride in that because I do not waste my time on the things I don't need to learn. Whatever I learn or I find out, I immediately apply and I see if it works or not. And then naturally, like in any business, you keep it or it goes away. Myself, I am NLP trainer. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. It is an applied psychology branch, which is mostly focused on personal and professional development for teams, soft skills, and solving the problems. I teach in Vilnius College, business innovation and creativity. I am founder of two companies or organizations who primarily work on soft skills development, innovation in business, and EU funds. My core interests is personal development, anything related with that, your emotional, mental, spiritual, physical development, neuroscience, mostly about how to make decisions, how to perform better in everyday situations, prioritize your success over the comfort, into longevity, creativity, and innovation. So if any of these topics are close to you, we can always have a conversation over the message or in person. Today's agenda is to fit in 1 hour time. Respecting that, I aim to, let's say, be efficient and practical. Also, at the end, giving some time for you to ask your interests, what is maybe to clarify more for you. I'm going to present a business mentoring program, which is a reason why this webinar is here and why we are all in this room. Then we switch into the main meal of this meeting, which is AI prompting and existing frameworks. I'm going to show you some examples, and in the end we have a discussion or questions and answers. If I go too fast, again, let me know, I can slow down. There is a so-called Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program, which is funded and found by European Commission, which is a European Union. Erasmus is the part where you have an opportunity to travel abroad and to find a mentor for your business, or to become a mentor and invite someone else to you, where you can host a person and have a knowledge exchange about how to improve your business and how to start the person's mentee's business whenever they are coming. In a nutshell, it is about starting the business easier. Now, the purpose is primarily knowledge exchange at EU level. The European Commission aims cross-border collaborations. So it's not only that someone is traveling for fun and getting all they want from the business mentors. I give you something, you give me something: ideas, experience, skills, insights, or contacts. Idea is to promote entrepreneurship, to have as many successful businesses as possible, and of course increase innovation in different industries, collaboration between the country individuals, and by default have more successful businesses. Maybe you have heard the statistics that 3-4 out of 5 businesses are failing in the first 1 to 3 years. So it's a huge failure and unsuccess rate, and this is all throughout the world. The beginning business is the hardest stage of the commerce, and the right support is this program. Now, why you should be joining this program in the first place? Well, first of all, it is a unique experience. Anyone who is joining it has an opportunity to meet smart, intelligent, experienced people, maybe bright, young, full of ideas and great energy. There's a chance to find a business partner in the long term, somewhere abroad, or a mentor or a friend or just an acquaintance that you can come back anytime in the future. It's a practice of foreign language. It's also testing your product or service or creating a new one. So, for example, you want to launch a drinks brand, a food brand, or a restaurant, and you're not sure how to do it, where to start from. You can go abroad to some restaurant owner and learn how this business is unique, what has to be fixed in the beginning to have a great start. At the same time, you can have a person from abroad as a mentor and have insights, contact person in the country to have a successful entry in the new markets and understand what is the mentality of the people. The good thing is that there is no commitment actually to create the business, because it happens that once you start putting the effort and making the first steps, you realize that this is not for you. Like students change the study programs, it is also allowed here to change your mind if business is not what you want to do or not the right one. And avoiding the beginner mistakes, that's very common. I myself began business, my first one 10 years ago, and I can tell I did many mistakes. I had no experience in business whatsoever. It took me years to overcome some mental barriers, some superstitions, assumptions, limiting beliefs, and that, of course, led to great learning. But I also had mentors in my life, and I understood how fast I can grow with the right person besides me, with the right mentor that can advise, tell me what to expect, and know and explain how to overcome the future challenges. So the mentee, the startup entrepreneur, has to have less than 3 years of business experience, including the freelancing. There should be a clear business idea in your mind or on the paper, or you have already registered it, again, less than 3 years. And language requirement at least B2 level to be able to communicate with your mentor and prepare the right documents. The format is, it is not an internship, work or volunteering. This is none of that. That's why sometimes it's a little bit challenging to understand. It's a knowledge exchange. Two people are meeting to benefit each other and to learn from each other. So you give something and person gives something to you. There's a requirement, at least 8 hours per week to have a contact, to have a meeting. This can be self-study, discussions, study visits, job shadowing, doing some minor tasks in the company or allowing to do it. This can also involve some discussions, debates, preparation sessions for starting your own business, doing maybe some market research or creating content for something that is maybe for the hosting businesses. Then the exchange are possible locally or remotely. As I mentioned in the beginning, Erasmus part here is that it is not only for the young people, it is also, but it is for inexperienced people in business. And Erasmus is a mobility where only mentee, is traveling abroad to the mentor company, organization to learn from them. If by chance there is family, education, or work or something else that you cannot travel, it is possible to join this program via online channels and join, of course, faster because you don't need to prepare so much logistics and paperwork, and then have the experience with remote meetings. Then it has to be mutual benefits and value. That one I already mentioned. Both parties are choosing each other, and the mobility lasts from 1 to 6 months. This is the minimum and maximum requirement. So yeah, and the option about traveling, I've almost forgot to mention it, that the program has funding. There is a monthly allowance for participants who are joining the program as a starting entrepreneurs and going to the mentor's company. And this financial support is quite decent, I would say, and is meant to cover your rent, accommodation while you are in that country. If by chance you can manage to cover your travels, that also is up to you. It's a kind of a lump sum. All right, moving into today's topic, I would like to debunk 5 myths about AI. To begin with, AI is only for programmers. No, it is not AI only for programmers. AI is for anyone who wants to be more productive in whatever job or task that they are doing. That's the most wide definition I can tell. And anyone who, it's like going on Google, right? We have a search bar where we type in our question or our keywords or key phrase, and we click enter and we scroll looking for the right answer. Very similar process is also with AI. We're giving our prompt, our question for it, and it gives us the answer, which we have to validate, read, and to confirm if we got the right answer that we need. So this is just for the text documents. There's also creating some different types of contents like music, sound, or videos. That one we will not touch today. Today's simple first baby steps for those who want to learn and join the club. Well, quite frankly, there is huge investment and progress in digital transformation all around us. There are things that you don't know that are being rolled out really, really fast. It starting from digital currencies, digital identities, documents, verifications, scanners, and so on. We, as 21st century individuals, have the let's say, duty, responsibility to be digitally educated. And AI is one of, let's say, it's like calculator that we are using, or Google that we're using, right? It's new thing now, but it is already part of industries and very unlikely that it will go away. The third myth is that I should be polite. So this comes from practice from my students and the participants in the training. People say, should I be polite, or I'm usually polite with the chatbot that I'm talking with. And well, there is two types of answer. Extra information that is not necessary in the chat, and sometimes it can even slightly confuse the bot that is reading your prompt. Hence, politeness is optional. It's for you to decide how much you want to say. A couple of months ago, I saw the meme where it is the end of the world and the robots take over the world, and there is chaos and war, and the robots are shooting everybody, and they stopped towards one person and they say, don't shoot this one, he was polite and friendly. So this is for you to judge how much you want to interact friendly with the bots. The fourth myth is that it is non-biased. Every answer that you are receiving is biased. It's subjective, because primarily it is trained on information that is found online. And as you know, online information is not always the right one, not always verified, and not always correct. Other than that, this information is being processed and filtered through engineers that are programming AI and adding filters and shaping the responses, the direction, how the response should be given. Because unlike the Google search, where you get multiple answers and you are the one who is choosing, with AI, the bot, the chat is deciding what you will be reading, what you will be receiving, and what is the right answer. They have an option to go in to read the links to ask for clarifications and references, but quite frankly, not many of us, I think, are doing that, right? Many of us are lazy, including myself. I'm not saying I'm not. So consider that this is a biased information, and you should always be critical about what you're getting towards yourself. Last one is one solution for everything. So again, from practice, many participants are ChatGPT fans and users. I say use every tool that is out there. At least test them for your own versatility of skills and understanding how this technology is working. And who knows, maybe you will find a better tool that is giving you better results. Now that we covered the formalities, I would like to shape your perception a little bit about how to see AI or artificial intelligence as a technology. Many sees it as a worker, some sees as a friend or advisor. My recommendation, many other psychologists and experts, psychology recommendation is use AI as your assistant. As you would have a vacuum cleaner in the house or a secretary, let's say, personal assistant, treat it the same way, because it is a tool. It is a technology that is meant to help you to be more efficient, productive, and achieve more with less resources. By all means, do not think it is someone who knows more than you, because it's always us, let's say, who knows what we expect and what we want. So yeah, also change the role from performer into a founder, creator of the business, and accept the fact that you have a support. Accept the fact that you have assistance, which is free of charge often, right? And you can, with one click of the button or a message, you can get a lot of output, information, advice, recommendations that only depends on how well the prompt is designed. That's the only bottleneck that is out there. So shifting from the role that I can do everything, which of course we can do everything, into the role of I now have an insightful assistant, free employee, and I need to act as a founder, creator of the business, and give it a task, give it something to perform, to accomplish, instead of myself doing the job. And it takes time. Like, it takes time to shift from this role. So start from the small steps. Good. As I mentioned before, okay. So many beginners, they do this prompting thing quite immaturely. No judgment. I just said that we all have our first steps. So first of all, the way people are asking is just as Google search. They say, what are top 10 movies of 2025, right? Or they say, what is the recipe to make pancakes or some soup, right? So we're looking actually for information, and the prompts are very basic, like we would put in search bar. The second way how people are doing beginners are doing the AI prompting is conversation, saying, hey, how are you? Today I'm feeling not well. Could you help me to tell what, let's say, I should eat, use, or do to feel better? Or today I'm going to this location. Tell me what is the weather or where I could go. And then maybe tell your preferences and just have a conversation that maybe you are it's too far, it's too close, and you just, like with a friend, you have a conversation with this bot about your day, your struggles, maybe where you want to go, what you're planning. The third thing is that we are giving it tasks. We say, write a letter about something, right? Or analyze this article and give me a summary. Watch this YouTube video for me and give me a transcript or a summary with key takeaways. We're giving it a task without much of the thinking because, well, it already does a great job. And lastly is the analysis of text, numbers, data, images. I already see many people who are just taking a picture of their bicycle, shoe, or anything in the house, and they ask how to decorate it, how to fix it, what to add to remove. Take picture of their fridge, and they ask what they can make out of that. So again, the analysis of the data that they are submitting in the prompt in the chat. This is not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that this is the beginning level of how we do our transition based on our old habits and skills. But it's time to actually shift into a more intermediate level and to start using some frameworks, right? So framework is kind of like from walking or running, we're shifting towards using the transportation, be it a bike, car, plane, or something else. The same way here. When we structure our prompts in the right way, we get better results. And as I said in the beginning, the bottleneck or the output of your chat depends only on the prompt that you are giving. The better the question, the better is the answer. And now we're learning 5 of these frameworks. The first one is PEACE. PEACE is an acronym that stands for Performance, Environment, Actuators, and Sensors. By performance, it means that there is a desired outcome or a goal, what you want to achieve by the end with this prompt, like what's the final output, what it has to perform. Second thing is the environment. Again, there is a context or constraints on which AI operates. So I would just write, find me the best movie of 2025. It gives me the list. I say, no, I need a movie that is within 1 hour and a half, maybe has some fighting in it, some westerns, right? And is, let's say, rated at least 8 out of 10 stars on some assessment platforms. So I'm giving the context, I'm giving some constraints, and I can say, for example, I'm going to watch this movie in the evening while I'm with the family, or I'm going to watch it myself to cheer me up, let's say on the gloomy Monday night. And based on the context, AI is much more clear to understand what movie it has to look for. Then actuators are standing for actions that AI can take to influence its environment. So here I can tell where to go or where to look at. I can say, for example, going into the European websites to find the links of the movies, or I can say analyze the best performing, most viewed lists on forum cinemas here in Lithuania, right? And based on those, let's say actuators, actions, he can again pull out the best solution. The last one is sensors. This is information that AI can collect from its environment. I can add here, let's say, rating, the number of views, the length of the movie, the feedback, the comments, reputation, let's say, of the creator of the movie, producer, or the actors. Right? So I name all this context and then I put the prompt, and it does absolutely best result that can come, other than just saying find me a movie for tonight. Second option is COSTA. COSTA stands for context, objective, style, tone, audience, and response. Context, I already kind of mentioned in the previous one. It is giving understanding where you are coming from. Another example, let's say we would take from business. We say, or let's say I write, look, I am this age person, tired from my work, I want to quit it, I have only 3 hours per day to work, and I want to start a new business that would give me satisfaction with my work and would employ my hobbies. So this is the context, what I'm thinking about, right? The objective, the explain goal, explaining the goal is what you want to achieve. I want to have a clear business idea, which I can start tomorrow, for example, right? Like what you want to achieve. Style is what style outcomes has to be. And for example, you don't like this robotic passive voice output, you can say, answer me as Batman, for example, right? I like to say to my students that ask AI to give you a response as some kind of actor or character in the movie or cartoon, or as an animal. And then this style again is influencing. The tone is how you want it to sound. So friendly, academic, business, technical, very simple one, cheerful, constructive, destructive. It's entirely up to you what the tone should be there. It is about how you want it to sound. Then audience is to whom is this output. It is for me, then it is very simple. If it is a message or a presentation, you say this is for possible future investors, or for the clients, or for the co-worker, and with whom I'm working every day, or co-worker that I don't know. Based on this restraints, the output is also changing. The response is exact format or examples that you want the answer to be. So is it a message? Is it an ad that you want to share online? Is it a letter, a report? Is it a transcript for something? If you don't know how to name it, you can just upload the example of how you want the output to be, the response to be, and just say, from analyze this format and answer me in the same way. As we are doing our first steps with AI, it is hard actually to be specific with all of these parameters. And giving the example and asking what to do with this example helps a lot for AI and for you. And then after a while, you get used to it and you start being more efficient with the commands that you are giving. A little bit for when to use it. So P's are mostly for the work environments. COSTA can be used for daily situations, plus some freelancing jobs. Tag is very fast, simple framework, probably mostly for marketers or quick messages that you are having. First is the task. Clearly define what you want to achieve, what should be the result, what it has to do. Again, analyze, find, evaluate, advise, or something else. Construct, for example. Audience is to whom is this output that you are asking for, and genre. Genre is a style, tone, format of the output, how you want it to be. Is it a song? Is it a technical document? Is it a letter again? Is it a recipe? Is it some kind of research? Is it a summary? Is it a transcript outline for the article? Again, you decide. This is mostly for content creators, for very quick assignments, creating some social media posts, product descriptions, and similar assignments. Next is race. Race is, again, giving the role, being specific with what role the bot is doing. And I can tell that giving the role for your bot changes a lot. Other than just giving the context, it is like finding a random person on the street, saying that you have a problem, saying why you have a problem, and asking to solve it. But imagine that you do this action to every person on the street. Let's say to design a perfect letter for your client to get the sales, right? To what you write for the client to convert him to make him buy. And you ask it every person on the street to do this task. And naturally, each person, based on their background, their knowledge, and their experience, will give you different messages. And very likely that the best message will come from advertiser, from the marketer, from the salesperson, because they know how to sell, they know how to write these texts, right? And the same way goes for the artificial intelligence. Once you give a role for it, it acts as if that person. And if you want, you can do the comparison. Have two chats, whereas in one you say, write me an apology letter. The second one you say, act as HR professional that has profound experience in managing difficult situations, and write me, same thing, letter for being late to the work or to the meeting. And then, just because of this one difference in parameters, you will see how different is your output. Next is action, what it has to do. This we covered already. Context, explain why, how, where, when, where you are coming from, where it is going to be used. Let's say if we are asking to design an ad, right? So is this ad for the Google ads? Is it an ad for the Facebook? Is it an ad for the LinkedIn? Is it an ad to put on your website or somewhere else? So this context is, again, as much important as a role. It gives understanding where the output will be put in. And as a metaphor, I would say it's like trying to put the puzzle piece in the wrong place. So if AI knows what is the surrounding pieces of the one that he has to deliver, then he prints, let's say, the right piece that you need. And expectations is explaining what kind of outcome you are expecting. Ideally, giving the example, non-ideally explaining the length, the tone, the format, the vocabulary to be used, the language, and all these metrics. And the more bad outputs you have, the more inaccurate outputs you have, by refining them with these parameters, you understand how much value, how much importance they have. And last one is rise. Rise, again, giving the role, specifying the role, and of course, adding some kind of specific knowledge. Let's say, again, as I mentioned before, HR person specifically great at managing difficult situations, or let's say business developer with the knowledge, specific knowledge in tech or solving, let's say, front end of the website or e-commerce, e-shops, right? And you can add also experience, which is, let's say, 100 years of experience. I usually say 1,000 years of experience, but who knows, maybe it can be a little bit less. You can also be creative and funny with your prompts. Different variations allows you to see how your creativity and sometimes nonsense commands can give you something really interesting as an output. So here all the people like to say, think outside the box. I say here, do mistakes deliberately with intention to see how much different phrasing or information can change the output of your prompt. The last or pre-last is a scenario, which is setting the context or the flow, which can be used, for example, for long format content. It can be a project, the description. It can be a business plan. It can be designing some kind of website, right? So you want to have page 1, 2, and 3 information in each of them. You want to have Q&A sessions with the bot. So setting scenario should look like, if I write, let's say I create a website, I say we are going to work on the website. I'm going to share with you some examples, act as business developer with the front end experience and e-commerce with 50 years of 10 people experience in yourself. I will need from you to be very creative, and I will ask one question at a time. I want you to keep the context and answering these questions based on the context I gave to you in the beginning. And that's it. For the reference, you can add files, documents, texts, or links for it to read. And not every tool has option to read it. And of course, in the end, give it example. That's most effective way for it to analyze and understand what you want. Now, as we moved from beginners to intermediates, we are going now to the mastery. And since we are having quite short amount of time, I will try to be brief. So after many training sessions I gave, or let's say decent amount of sessions, I taught AI myself. And as much as I practice, I understand that in the end, prompting is not about prompting. It's not about which framework you are using. It's about how I am thinking. If you go back in the past days of your life when and if you would remember how you began to use Google search or any search, I think the beginning was pretty much like we do now with AI. It's more like conversational, asking long sentenced questions. Over the time, we learned, or at least engine adapted in the way that it is enough to put the keywords or key phrases in the search bar, and it finds what you need it to find. Sometimes it even finds the songs if you write na 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 na. The same way also is with AI. AI was trained based on how humans are thinking, and also how engineers understand that the brain is working. And it is a lot like a mind map and thinking in concepts. So in the beginning, I would say try these frameworks, see how they work, practice them, and after a while, let's let's say, good month or a quarter, let's say 3 months of practicing it, try to create your own framework. Naturally, if you do it a lot, you will come up with something on your own. But idea here is to experiment and give crazy prompts. Crazy prompts, I mean that asking to improve something 1,000 times, asking to have 10,000 years of experience in something, and mixing random things. Let's say you are IT developer with a huge interest in yoga and the carnivore diet. Create me a blog post about the cars. This is completely a random thing, but see what it brings as a result. And I hugely encourage you to experiment in this completely random pieces, and then you will understand how your brain is working and how AI is working. And it is also a creativity task to think outside the box and limitations, because in the end, it will benefit you as a user of AI, and you become also better thinker. You will think better also, like you'll be more creative. So in the end, like what these arrows mean, that if here is a prompt, each arrow stands for the parameter that I gave you before, be it a context, a task, a role, an output, the format, or something else. Play around each of these formats, seeing if you can come up with something different than a regular person will write. If we talk about the task, right? If I say, right, the task is to write a business plan, I can say, write an outstanding business plan that would win any investor's interest, right? This is the task. You can say that, right? So, or you can say analyze or write a business plan, analyze it, improve it 5 times, and give me the output of that final improvement. So this is just playing with the task, how much I can come up with creativity in that sense. Then we have a context. Context, okay, is maybe you can be less creative, but again, you can be more descriptive. Let's say I'm writing an apology letter to say, sorry, I was late for the meeting. My good friend, we are friends since the high school, we work in the same position, and I was late in the meeting where I had to do a presentation. Find me a way based on his preferences, his gender, his movie likings, his hobbies, how I can design this letter for him or for her to forgive me the same moment, and actually even be sorry for me being late in his meeting. So something like, flipping the table to the other side. Again, it's all a matter of how you think and your creativity. And based on what you give as an input, then you get much different results. And as an example, I was about to give you an activity to split cookie into ingredients, where we have chocolate, we have dough, we have oil, we have shape, we have color and smell. And think what would happen if we remove one of these parameters. And the same way can go also for the prompts. You split it into the pieces and see what happens if you remove or you change one of the parameters in that prompt. Great, and I have final tips for those who were with me at the end to strengthen your mastery in this short session. First of all is, don't do mistakes in the presentation. Always do a double check. Next thing I find very useful is asking questions for AI, or asking it to ask questions to you. It happens that you might forget some details, or you don't know what to mention for it to give you the best output. And also, all artificial intelligence chatbots are trained to make assumptions about your prompts. Because if they ask every word that you put in the chat, it will be very tiring for the user, and we will not be using it. It will not be so successful. Therefore, this was designed in the way that it makes many assumptions. Like I say, so my tip is, at the end of your initial prompt or follow-up prompts, always say to the AI, ask any questions that might help you to make a better output. Ask any questions to me that will help you to understand context, task, output, or the tone better. Then it asks you questions, and then you answer those questions, and then it gives you completely different, much better response. Then, using specific references, this I began to use only from November. The way it works is, I say, for example, design me a business plan, right? I want to join some programs or to get venture capitalists funding. I say, write me a business plan, and it writes me business plan. But if I am knowledgeable in the field, let's say I know about Blue Ocean's strategy, I know about AIDA framework for marketing, I know about what else? I know about analysis or SWOT analysis, right? I can add these references in my prompt, and then this business plan is much more custom. It's less generic, and it looks more unique and more interesting and more credible. So instead of just having a business plan where it has a product, marketing, and so on, you have now a business plan which is outstanding from the others based on Blue Ocean strategy, right? It emphasizes how it is different. And then for marketing, it uses not funnels, not traditional social media, but it uses AIDA framework, which is for attention, intention. D stands for, I forgot about what it stands, and the last one is about acquisition. So if we use specific references from our field, right? If I'm engineer, I say, create me a technical analysis of this house blueprint. You can say, create me a blueprint of this house based on 3D model of AutoCAD or something else. So adding these references from your experience, from the field specificness, makes it way more profound, way more detailed, and really shows the capabilities of AI. So all you need to do, for example, go to the library, into section of the books that you are working on currently your task, and just write down the keywords, frameworks, or some references, and use them in your prompt. And one first time I tried it was when I was writing an ad for social media, and in NLP, in neuro-linguistic programming, we have this frameworks for timeline and proper phrasing and reframing. And I just said to AI, write me a social media post promoting the project based on based on a hero's journey concept. Right? So from generic, hey, unleash your power, as they like to write, I had a very nice story of the key person in one prompt overcoming his obstacles. And the last one is ask to continue in the next submission. So if we are using free versions or paid versions, sometimes they have limitations of how much output they can put out. So all you need to do is, at the end of your prompt, you say, if this output that you're going to deliver is too long and cannot fit in this window, continue in the next one. So all you need to do is to write continue until it finishes. These are, let's say, 3 most advanced tips I can share with you at the moment that really does great results. And if you want to stay in touch, keep the connection and conversation going, this is our social media links and the QR code for our Linktree link. But other than that, you can always find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, same as our handles here. If you have specific requests for the templates, I can add something also in the list, so feel free to give your requests. Hopefully, information was interesting for many, and I was able to deliver interest to experiment and be creative with AI stuff. Thank you for your time, for your attention. It was meant just to trigger your interest and get some inputs to practice it today.